Yo, hey everyone, welcome. This is the first walkthrough of Nucleo. So, Nucleo is an AI co-intelligence. It's really meant for researchers, and I'm going to go through and just show you how to use it, but it's meant for scientific researchers. Me, I have a PhD in health science. I'm a certified advanced biotherapies professional. So, guess what? Nucleo is based off of cell biology, molecular biology, a lot of my research anyway in the related fields of biology, chemistry, medicine, etc. Now, it is an AI co-intelligence. It's not meant for general use. And you'll see, so we'll just get into it. First, you got to sign into Nucleo. It's found at nucleo.chat. So you sign in here, and I'll give you the overview. First off, we're going to log in. Use the Google option, it's the best, but if you want to make your own password, go ahead as well. You can support Nucleo's development by donating here if you'd like. If it's more important for you to donate in crypto, I can provide you the wallet addresses also. But if not, so donate if you can. It really helps the project. I want to make this as best as I can. It's bootstrap self-funded, so help me out. All right, but for now, maybe later. Okay, so I'm going to orient you to everything that happens here. For example, on the menu here, as I mentioned, it's a co-intelligent agent, but you can start a new chat anytime, or you can start over. These are the brain bank is the RAG database. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it's a vector database that is powers all of my notes, a curated research from researchers that I trust or myself. And we have a total bank of 3,203 either peer-reviewed studies or books and text, and it's climbing every day, and that is the database or the brain bank for Nucleo. Now, as we scroll down here, you'll see that we have a prompt enhancement mode. So you can be a lazy prompter with Nucleo, and it will enhance your prompts and make them better for you very easily, and we'll demonstrate that. We have a speed research mode, which is found here and here. Speed research is exactly as it says. It's for a quick inference to do some quick research. Ask it a quick question, it'll give you a quick answer. It is not attached, it is attached in a different way to the database, which means that it doesn't spend so much time thinking, if you will. But what it does do is it searches the internet. So it'll ping out to Google Scholar and also a light Google search and make sure that the information is correct and return it in the field, only on speed research. When you have no mode selected, that is what we call the base model. And the base model is the smartest model that we can have that is outside of a reasoning model. And that is right here. So the baseline models are supervised, fine-tuned models based on research as well as some data and a perspective. And that's how we get the supervised fine-tune models. Eventually, I'll release them on Hugging Face for everyone to see, but not right now. Okay, secondly is the deep reasoning mode. So if you want it to do some iterative reasoning, it will then deeply look into the brain bank. That is the most at it will look there the most in deep reasoning mode. And we'll demo this. Short-term memory. So AI and LLM is mostly about context. So each conversation, as you're kind of iterating, right? So these are iterative conversations. They're just going to keep passing the context from the prior. Now it has a memory on the back end, but we want to make sure that keep passing context or summary of context so you get the best output you can. And this is the best solution that I'm calling kind of a poor man's large language model equivalent answering. It's not a mixture of experts. It's a series of models that are using each other as well as having a guardrail, which is the RAG database, and having another guardrail, which is the internet. So you have those that keep it in the path of like, okay, this is the right answer. You have a supervised fine-tuned model, so it's removed some of the generality and made it more specific for your use case. Then the last part on top of that is it uses a retrieval mechanism from the knowledge base, and that's how it works. And it passes the context each time until you get close to the context window max, and then it'll start over with a summary. Okay, so with all that said, is become a pro member, support the project, and there is an AI community That doesn't really do much as of yet, but will once we get some more users. Okay, this is here is how you attach. You can attach documents, which then uses OCR. And this is the voice input. So it's a speak to chat or a speak to text, right? Which we'll show. But first, let's start with, we're going to say something brief. Say like, I would like to know how to culture, let's just do cells, stem cells, because I work in biotherapies. So we're going to start there. We just asked it a simple question, right? We're going to fire that off, and it's going to enhance the prompt, meaning it's going to give it a lot more context. Okay, so you're going to read through. This is the enhanced prompt. This is the one that it sends, the improvements that are made, so you can see, okay, and making sure that you are understanding the original intent. So it makes it easy. So you go from lazy to more complex. All right, so you're like, you can either use the original or you can use the enhanced. Let's go ahead and use the enhanced, if you will. So because there's no other modes selected, it's using the base model. And again, this is not designed for the light of heart because it is very dense information. And you hear a comprehensive protocol for culturing human stem cells. It goes over your scope, it goes over your practice. It gets really technical here. As I mentioned, it's not for general use, it's for scientists. So it's can be difficult and hard to understand if you do not understand or work or live in this industry or study in this industry, and it is designed that way. So you have it'll go through the general workflow, thawing, etc., etc. Now we're gonna not enhance the prompt anymore, but what we are going to do is we are going to activate the storage mode, the context passing, local memory. And so we're going to say, okay, great. Can you elaborate more, please? And we're going to send that. And if you see here, I keep this window open so you can see all the context that was passed back to the LLM. Now it's still on the base model. And now you're going to see, okay, now it's coming with a little more refined of what you need, a little more detail, kind of telling you what to do. And again, the format is not meant to be very like easy on the eyes and easy to understand. It is really graduate level. So you have to understand, you have to know in this individual field. You can obviously back it up and ask it many questions, but if you saw that the inference is very fast, okay. And as you see, it's very detail oriented all the way to the bottom. Now, I wanted to focus on this portion right here, which is 0% from the knowledge base. So it did not grab anything from the knowledge base, and that may be an issue for this base model, as it did not index it did not use RAG as it's supposed to. So now you know that this is all coming from the model and not the RAG database. But let's say, can you simplify this for me and make it organized? All right, so then now it's selected with the deep research mode. So it's going to use a reasoning model, or sorry, I said research, but I mean deep reasoning, and it's going to use a reasoning model. And as you see, passes the context because you have the memory, but it's going through and it's telling you about how it's reasoning through all of the requests, and you can inspect that. And then it comes here to this beautiful output, which is very clean. I asked it to simplify, I asked it to organize, and it absolutely did, and it did what it was supposed to do. And then it can ask, and then it says if you'd like further clarification, explain in more detail, you absolutely can. It is a lot, and you have to get used to kind of reading it, and that's where you have the color text. So if you're like me and you have ADHD, you like to scan things and read things quickly, and so when you have that contrast, you can easily scan through it. Now we're going to go here. If you look at the knowledge base, that it used 16% of the knowledge base, and that is in the deep reasoning mode. So, a percentage came from your RAG, and a percentage came, or your RAG database, and then the percentage came from the model itself, what it was trained on, which is probably good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to kill that, which is mean we're going to turn off the local, we're going to turn off the deep reasoning, we're going to scroll up to the top, we're going to clear, And just to make sure we kind of clear the memory here, I don't know why exactly that works, but it helps clear the cache or the memory. Okay, so here we are now. Now we're going to use a voice to text. So let's go ahead and click on the enhancement mode right here and say, please, can you tell me about the secretome of an MSC? And if you see that it didn't translate exactly correct, so we're going to kill this. We're not going to send it. But as you see, we're going to start over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to kick it off again. It says, can you please tell me how cells replicate? Okay, so we have this one here, cell replication. But you know what? I'm going to do it differently and I want to use the original. So it gets rid of that. And then it's going to throw back to the base model. And as you see, it grabbed 15% of the knowledge database and it's going over how cells replicate. And again, it's a co-intelligence, so it's not there to explain everything, but you can go through here. And if you want to learn more about the molecular clock, you most certainly can. Righty then. Now we're going to come up here and turn that guy off. We are going to use is we're going to attach the file. So if you have a file, so here's a study here. We're just going to grab it here, and it looks like it had an issue analyzing it, which that is probably what's going to happen for a while. And we'll get that fixed. Demo in public. All right, we're going to also look at the sign the guest book feature. So if you use it, go ahead and sign the guest book. You're right here, and you can check that out. Return to where you got to go. We have an upload research feature. So this is how we get the brain bank. This is how the brain bank is. So if you see here, right, we're going to upload the PDF. We'll grab this one that we could not extract from. We'll auto-populate. It auto-populates all the fields. You have to select the field of research. This is bioactive cytokines. Upload the paper. What it will do is follow this progress bar, and it uploaded the database. And so then it returns here, and now you have just added an entry to the database. This is updated every week. So now we have a 3204, right, and counting. And that is the overview of Nucleo. So now we're going to do this like untethered, and I'll just show you show you what I like to do. Okay, so let me say, can you tell me about IL-6? Then you'll just see me work through all this research here. Okay, then I usually click use enhanced. It's going to fire that off. And then I scan and read classical pathways there. Okay. Now, what I want to know is how, and then I pass the context. So it's going to tell me more. Okay, using the big model to think. All right. And we scroll, read. The references are dangerous. Okay, and then it says, now build me a hypothesis with null hypothesis for IL-6 in IL-6 progression in elderly people. Just making this up. Okay, so then we have IL-6 increases with elderly, including chronic and low-grade inflammation associated with aging, and the null hypothesis is there also. Okay, now you can say, all right, please test these and recommend a informative series of paragraphs so I can evaluate. All right, and again, it's a co-intelligence. You're passing all the context, passing all the drama, and it's hitting to the main model right now. It's doing its thinking. We're gonna take a look back at how much we were on the data, on the knowledge base from the last one, which is nothing, which makes sense because I don't think there's much in there about this. Okay, null hypothesis. All right, so why IL-6 matters in aging. Talks about the inflammaging and gives you kind of a lot of dense, and then you can cruise through it. So draft these paragraphs. So it gives you paragraphs here, paragraph B, paragraph C, paragraph D. Recognize IL-6 is progressively, as it goes through, suggest your final document into hypothesize, literature review, method, discussion, conclusion, etc. And you can keep iterating and iterating until you have an entire scientific research project all worked out. And what I'd like to do is when it gets kind of dense like that, what I'll do is throw on the speed research mode and be like, can you organize this for me? And what it will do is it'll do its job as passing all the context, come up with a summary, and then organize it for you. When it gets kind of deep into so many iterations of conversations, it can then bust the context window. So you got to be careful with that. It takes a little bit. So, okay, so we have this little quick reference documents, and you can see how it brings it all down here. And as you go through, looks nice, full outline, etc. So that with the speed is Nucleo. All right, so that's one feature of co-intelligent research. So in this next video, I'm going to demonstrate a project I've been working on called Quadrata. Quadrata is a peer review system, an agentic peer review system, and we'll do that next. But this is part one for Nucleo. Please play around with it and let me know if you want access in the comments. But anyway, thanks for your time. Peace.